Life in Christ is good. Christ loves you all. You are Creation 13. I'm Ambassador of Starseed. And today I want to talk to you about who owns your soul. And does something own your soul? Um, Again, I had that conversation on Facebook, and one of the quotes I got from it was um, an answer to the question I put. I think this is from the other person. I think the idea of Satan is an outdated concept, and no, I don't think it is the case. I don't think any force runs anything. I think we all have free will and are as powerful as any force out there that you think can control you. That is what true empowerment is about. It's when you realize that nothing can control you. And this was my response. Then what power created your soul? And the creator who created your soul owns your soul. Basically, the creator, whoever created you, owns you. So the creator who created your soul owns your soul. You do not create your own soul. Again, deception. Something is always controlling you and your thoughts and heart. That's how energy works. That's how synergy works. Basically, that was my response. And the point being um, is that this is part of the deception of the whole New Age thing is free will and self-empowerment. And people seem to not look deeper into what self-empowerment is. Self-empowerment, at least for me personally, self-empowerment means is you learn to love yourself, respect others as they respect you. If they don't respect you, then there's no reason to respect them. Basically, it's an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Basically, you know, show respect, and if they show you respect, then that's awesome. Self-empowerment of being there for others and showing your love and support. Now, if they don't support your love that you're giving them, then you walk away. Again, a sign of respect. But however, um, definitely continue to show that love to some extent. If somebody is suffering and going through like abusive relationship or something like that, you should definitely be I wouldn't say a thorn in their side, but you should definitely show your concern constantly. Even if they don't appreciate it at the time, you showing your concern and love will always be in the back of their mind. So as they're making bad decisions in their life, they're always going to have the remembrance of your words in their mind. That's basically the self-empowerment thing is taking charge of your path. Um, and that could spread to a whole different thing. I just created a conversation on Facebook about that you are in charge of your choices for the most part. Um, However, God always comes into play, and Christ always comes into play into religion. However, you require that Christ energy to flow through you to stay connected to the universal God. Um, Again, that's for another topic. But it's basically, I guess it does run around the same thing of who owns your soul, um, and who does own your soul. The universal God owns your soul. Who created your soul? The universal God and the guardians of these planets. The guardians who created this planet. Um, and I want to read you an interesting thing. Just like I said, in the previous video and videos, is that the American Bible was translated. It was a rough translation and a created translation. Basically, the Vatican's created their own religion, so then they can be worshipped, and their God can be worshipped. Like you said, I say universal God because it allows you to be aware of that I am connected to the universal God that created everything. You know, when you say God, you have to be very specific because there's many false gods on this planet. I read another interesting thing about the Lamb of God, and then there is a Ram of God. So basically, the scripture was, I'll make a video on it, but basically the scripture was in Revelations something of he'll have the lambs on his right side, I think, and then on his left side, the goats. Hidden symbolism definitely has to do with Bethamot character, but basically Satan character, but also the Jesus character and the whole thing in the Bible of the false prophets wearing sheep's clothes, but they are really at the heart they're wolves. It's very interesting. But I've been watching some people who have been doing research and doing translations of the original transcripts of the Hebrew, Greek that came later, and the oh man, I forget what it's called. It's Arab or something like that. Hold on a sec. I want to get this right because when I say stuff in videos, I want to try to be as accurate as I can. So if you want to do your research, you can. And I don't think it's going to let me. Let's see. Dang, I don't see it. Ah, here we go. Arabic, yeah, Arabic, something like that. Yeah, so the Arabic language. So basically, the Hebrew, Greek, and Arabic language. But this person, her name is Nine Nania. Yeah, Nine Nania. She's been doing a lot of the translations of the Bible. Basically, you can go to a Bible study website and you can actually look into every single Hebrew Greek word and do your own translations. Just like Elohim is God in America, but really Elohim is plural, so it means more than one being. So basically, she's been writing a lot of awesome stuff on her channels. But she basically translated Genesis, and she's been working on this for a long time. Again, you can do your research on translations, and you can talk to any translator, and they will tell you that the American Bible is wrongly translated. You know, it's the words are changed and everything. So you can't really deny that fact that the Bible is translated incorrectly. Just gotta do your research. You know, I mean, if you want to believe whatever someone tells you, that's fine. You know, but research is always key, and that's what I always tell you guys through my videos. Research, 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 research. So you're not taking my words to heart. It's just I am a messenger to allow you to go and do research on things. I express from my heart, and it's up to you to do research. That's my job, is to help you guys do research. So anyways, basically, and I want to read this because it has a lot to do with who owns your soul. So this is her translations based on the original wordings of the Hebrew Greek. In the beginning, the Elohim, which is plural, the Elohim created new conditions in the atmosphere of the earth. And basically, um, the heavens translates into atmosphere, which makes more sense. Just like I said, when you look out into the universe, that was what they considered heaven was outside the earth. So heaven, universe, atmosphere. But I'm just gonna read through this real quick because I'll make a own video about this. So in the beginning, the Elohim created new conditions in the atmosphere of the earth, and the earth was without form and void. And that's chapter 1, verse 1 and 2. Verse 2 is, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the surface of the deep, and the wind of the Elohim moved upon the surface of the waters. Hidden meaning, and the energy of the Elohim moved upon the surface of the waters, and waters is can be that Epsu energy, that that Christ energy, God energy, so on and so forth. Anyways, I'll just try to read through this real quick. And Elohim said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And the Elohim saw the light, that it was good. And the Elohim divided the light from the darkness. This is chapter 5, or verse 5. And the Elohim called the light day, and the darkness they called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And then I learned that a first day could be in a 1,000-year period. Because somewhere in the Bible it says one day is 1,000 days according to God. So the first day can be 1,000 years that this happened. Chapter 6, and Elohim said, "Let there be an extended surface in the midst of the waters, and let divide the waters in the seas from the waters in the clouds." Verse 7, and the Elohim made the extended surface, and divided the waters which were under the extended surface from the waters which were above the extended surface, and it was so. Verse 8, and the Elohim called the extended surface the atmosphere, and the evening and the morning were the second day, again 1,000 years. Verse 9, and the Elohim said, "Let the waters under the atmosphere be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear," and it was so. Verse 10, and the Elohim called the dry lands earth, Gaia, whatever you want to call it, and the gathering together of the waters they called seas. And Elohim saw that it was good. Verse 11, and the Elohim said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after its kind, whose seeds is in itself upon the earth," and it was so. Hidden meaning behind that, but I'll keep going. Verse 12, and the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed for after its kind, and the tree yielding fruit whose seed was in itself after its kind. And the Elohim saw that it was good. Verse 13, and the evening and the morning were the third day. Again, 1,000-year period. Verse 14, and the Elohim said, "The light is the expanse of the sky that divides the day from the night, will be for signs, appointed times, days, and years." Verse 15, and the light in the expanse of the sky shines upon the earth. So, verse 10, the Elohim observed carefully the two great lights, the great lights that dominates the day, the small light that dominates the night, and the stars. Verse 17, and the Elohim permitted the expanse of the sky to become bright on the land. Verse 18, and dominate the day and the night, and divided the light from the darkness. And the Elohim saw that it was good. Verse 19, and the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Again, 1,000 years. So that's 4,000 years right there, that the world was being reconstructed and created. Again, hidden meaning, and I'll get to it later. Verse 26, and the Elohim said, "Let us make human beings in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowls of the earth, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." For me personally, human beings made in the Elohim's image, Guardians of the Galaxy's image, can mean two different things, and it also says after our likeness, after their likeness. So are they humanoid? It's hard to say. But it does translate into humanoids in the Hebrew Greek, so it could be humans. Verse 27, so the Elohim created humans in their own image. In the image of the Elohim, they created them. Male and female, they created them. Basically, they created all humans. Verse 28, and the Elohim blessed them, which I talked about blessing as a curse. And the Elohim said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and bring it under cultivation and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the flying creatures of the air and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. Verse 29, and the Elohim said, behold, we have given you every plant bearing seed which is upon the surface of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for food, and to every beast, and verse 30, and to every beast of the earth, and to every flying creature of the air, and to everything that creeps upon the earth, wherein there is life. Every green plant will be for food, and it was so. Verse 31, and the Elohim saw everything that they had made, and behold, the abundance was very good, and in the evening and morning were the sixth day. 6,000 years. So, I'm going to make another video about this, but a very important thing to realize here is that the Elohim said, behold, we have given you every plant-bearing seed, which is upon the surface of the earth. You know, they gave you fruit off the tree, all the trees, all the plants. Gives you food, you know, gives you everything you need to nourish yourself. And it's also said for every being and creature on the earth, they will eat every green plant on the earth as well. So basically, there's no reference to them eating each other, because the Elohim, the creators of this world, God in the Bible, in the American Bible, but Elohim, the beings that came and reconstructed the earth, said be fruitful and take care of the living creatures of this earth. It does not say anything about eating them, so on and so forth. Again, I'll make another video about that, but it's very interesting. But the point being is that these beings, the Elohim, which I also call the Guardians of the Galaxy, created us to take care of this planet. And this is why it's said in here in verse 28, and the Elohim blessed them. Like I said, blessing is a curse. It's 13 less. Basically, they created the humans to take care of this planet. So we're not meant to leave this planet. We're here to take care of this planet. And I've talked about this in previous videos. And this brought up a question that someone sent me, saying that, oh, well, you believe in the Sumerian texts that we were all created to be slaves. Again, I make videos to help people do research, and people always think I believe in this, and I believe in that, and I believe in that, and that, and that, and that. But the point being is that the Sumerian texts are correct in terms of if you want to look at enslavement, but it wasn't really enslavement, because the Elohim, the Guardians of the Galaxy, gave that empowerment to the beings that they created, to the humans, to take care of this planet. So it is the humans' obligation, our generation's obligation, to maintain this planet, to make sure that there's plenty of plant life, that we are nurturing the earth, taking care of the earth. And that was our whole job here, was just to take care of the earth. That is what our creators instructed us to do. They created the avatar humans, and they also helped create our souls. So therefore, do they own our souls? I would say if you come down to Earth, they do. Um, because if you are a human, you hold this responsibility that the Elohim has given to humanity, and that is to take care of the Earth. Um, so yes, they do own your soul. So if the Elohim ever decided to show up again, the Guardians of the Galaxy show up again, um, they do have the right to take over this planet. And this has been talked about in many times. It's talked about also in Revelations of the Elohim, um, with also the Christ character. Because the Christ character says, that he will return. But if you read in Genesis about the Elohim, and you put that together with the Guardians of the Galaxy, Nibiru, Sumerians are more of the beings that came after, the fallen angels, and I'll get into that later. But the Elohim are the guardians. They are the protectors of the universe. That helps maintain the universal God's creation. Because I've talked about the universal gods before, or the Guardians of the Galaxy before, is that they maintain the planets to make sure that the beings on the planets are maintaining the planet and not being corrupt and creating their own selfish desires and ways. Just like what we have now. We got money, we got electronics, you know, what is that word? Not electronics. Technology. There we go. We got money. We got technology. We got religion. We have all these things that are distracting us from our job, and that is to maintain the planet. We're not here to you know be luxury. We would have luxury if we took care of this planet like we were told to do, like humans were told to do. Just take care of this planet. Then we would have the luxury of living life because the earth is beautiful. And when it was when it was done being created in that 6,000 year period, it says in the seventh day he rested. So I guess 7,000 years, you know, there was that peaceful state. We had to wake up, maintain the earth, go to sleep, but you're socializing with everybody. You're not having all these distractions and all this stuff, all this magic. TV is magic. It is the eye of Ra, and I'll be talking about that before. Um, it is magic. It's the devil. TV is the devil. Any kind of physical object, is Satan. It is a form of mind control. Yeah, I still watch movies and stuff here and there. But the world just is not set the way it's supposed to be. It's just not, and it's frustrating, especially when you have this awareness that what humans are supposed to be doing. If I was the Guardians of the Galaxy, I would be pissed right now on what the state of the Earth is at. Why do you think the world is drying up right now? Because the elite force, the beings that came down after the Elohim, the fallen angels, the Dracos that came down here, just enslaved this planet, obliterated it. But that was also because of the wrongdoings of humanity, because they didn't listen to the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Elohim. They didn't listen to them. So, right away they just corrupted. Humanity was corrupted by the fallen angels. And it says so right in the Bible about the fallen angels sleeping with the women of humans, and giving birth to the hybrids. Um, and I'll talk about that later. But that's, man, I mean, I get why the Guardians of the Galaxy would have condemned condemned their own, because the fallen angels, Lucifer the Lightbringer, it says in there that, you know, that it was the universal God's, he loves all of his children. The Guardians of the Galaxy are his children as well. So Lucifer, uh, Satan, uh, Satan, his minions, um, fell down because they wanted to take control over. Instead of being guardians, they want to take control over the universe. You've seen many videos about, beings trying to take over the universe. This is what happened with fallen angels, and why they were damned here was because they tried to take over the universe when they were supposed to just protect the universe. They're not the Guardians of the Galaxy are not supposed to intervene with the cultures of beings that are taking care of planets, unless if the planet is dying, and then they have to come back because, um, the universal God does not want to see destruction, so it's the Guardians of the Galaxy's job to maintain it. That's why you read in the Genesis about the formation of this planet, because this planet did not get destroyed, it just got obliterated on the physical self, but it wasn't totally destroyed. So it was cleaned up, maintained, and back to its state again. I hope this makes sense. But basically, the point being is that this new age stuff is just deceiving everybody. Them thinking that you have free will. You don't have free will. I think I'll make a video just on that. But you don't have free will. You don't know what's controlling your mind, what's controlling your being, and what is controlling this environment. You have no idea. Every time someone says they have free will, you don't know. You don't have a clue what free will is. You can make choices in your life, but that's not free will. All you can do is make choices and choose what path you want to go on. That's all you have. But somebody owns your soul, and you have to be aware of who owns your soul, so your soul stays connected to the source, which is the universal God, and through the Christ energy shoots you and keeps you connected with the universal God. Again, I'll have to dive deeper into what Christ energy is, but like I said, it's basically, our soul has that Christ energy within us, and you have to keep that activated, because if you fall into the deceptions of this world, especially in the state that it's in, you lose all that Christ energy because it gets sucked away out of you. Again, talked about, how the spirit realm and its evil beings will steal your life force away from you when you give in to temptations. Just like the TV, is a portal, and it can take your energy. That's why some people sleep with the TV on, because their energy gets sucked out. Never sleep with that TV on. Never sleep with that TV. But yeah, just, be aware that someone does own your soul, and they can claim your soul. In some way, shape, or form, based on what energy you gave out. Because everything is energy. Everything is energy. Universal God is energy. Christ is energy. Everything is energy. And you can never deny that. It is an energy war. It is a spiritual war, which is breath. Breath of life. It is a soul war. Basically, I need to start saying, it says spirit realm, I need to start saying soul realm. Because, like I said, spirit is breath, spirit is energy, which is what the soul realm is energy. But soul is a life force. And these beings, spirit is energy, have a soul force there. Their soul is still maintained in that realm. That's something you have to become aware of as well. So yeah, just be aware that, you know, these Guardians of the Galaxy own you. If you're in a human form, they own you. You are working for them. And that's something to be very important about, because if these beings come back, uh, you just have to do what they tell you to do, because they are rulers over you. And that's something that people fail to realize, you know, especially in religion, you know, saying, "Oh, Christ comes back," you know, he'll know that I am with him. Well, yeah, you have that Christ energy, but it's not going to be, "Oh, come with me." You know, it's you know, if you're with Elohim and you're with the Guardians of the Galaxy, you just stand by their side. You're good to go. They'll know where your heart stands. That's basically it. But if you destroy life, and this comes into effect of, you know, if you kill an animal, same effect. Again, I'll talk about that in another video. But it says right in there, you know, if you do full translations of the Bible, it says no destruction whatsoever. No, you know, it says in those 10 Commandments. I really need to get the um, uh, the 40 laws of Kemet. Um, but I'll do that in another video. But it says right in there, "Thou shalt not kill." It does not say thou shalt not kill animals, or it doesn't say thou shalt not kill just humans. It says thou shalt not kill, period. It says thou shalt not kill nothing whatsoever. So something to be aware of as well. But yes, something does own your soul. You do not own your soul. You did not create your soul. So therefore, again, you do not own your soul. Other beings own your soul. Other beings created your soul, so they have every right to own you and do what they want to. Now, you can raise up in ranks with your soul, and this is where the whole thing in the Bible, which I like, this is why I'm going to be reading the American Bible word for word, so then I can back up my claim, because, you know, a lot of times when you say something about the Bible, you need to be very specific, because in the religious people will say, well, you need to be more straightforward on this. And the point being is I'm trying to, not trying, but my goal is to be able to talk with people who are into religion, so I can say, hey, this is what's in the Bible, and you have to look at the parable through it. You know, everything is a parable. The Christ character says in there that he speaks in parables. It's for you to self-discover what it means, and that's what I'll continue to make. So anyways, this video is getting long already, so yeah. So just remember that the Elohim, the Guardians of the Galaxy, own your soul. If you're a human, they own you, and that's just it. The only way you can raise up in ranks is based upon what you do here. So the more you do, the stronger your gift will be, in you rising in ranks, your soul rising ranks. Again, that's a whole other stuff. So anyways, you do not have free will. All you have is choices you can make and which path you want to go on. Nobody owns or you don't own your soul. You did not create your soul. Somebody else created it. The Elohim own you, and they own all humans that live on this planet. So be aware of that. That was pretty cool research from Nine Nania, and I'll post a link to her page, because she does really good work on everything. So that whole thing that I read is hers. So yeah. So anyway, so Christ loves you all. I love you. Love yourself. Keep shining bright. Continue to do research, you know, and just don't fall for these deceptions that are just all over the place. Like I said, do research, because don't take my word for it. You do your research and you'll continue to discover a lot of interesting things. So, talk to you in a little bit.